Previously on Battlestar Galactica.
Dude, get out of my face.
My wife and I purchased a firewood cutting permit for the Allegheny National Forest in Pennsylvania, home of the biggest and straightest black cherry trees in the world. A few days ago, I finally split the last few rounds we cut in the fall. Unfortunately, being allowed to cut only dead or dead standing trees means that the wood is not always perfect. Some of the rounds have this fluffy, what I can only assume is fungus, growing in the middle, and some of the wood there is a little soft. You can see the difference here. In the middle, the wood's just a little punky. Still plenty of good wood though, as you can see. And I bang a couple pieces together here. You can really hear how nice the wood sounds. So here's what I got versus what I lost out of several rounds. I may have been able to use the stuff I threw out, but I don't need to save every piece. I had also split several of the rounds back in the fall and stuck them in with some other firewood outside to dry. That wood is what we're going to use, or what we used on Sunday to fire the smoker. It's a lot drier than the wood I took from the rounds a few days ago, as you can see. In a second here, there's Charlie Man. The bottom here is the freshly split stuff. The top is the stuff I split last fall. And using this moisture meter, you can see the top is 6%, about 4%, and the bottom is going to read like 15 and 17%. You really can't see it. That meter is kind of a piece of shit, but it was able to tell the difference between these two split timings. So with the wood situation on lock, it was time to make the food. The combination of fermented red pepper paste, sesame oil, and kimchi is one of my favorite flavor experiences and what I think about when I think about Korean style food. When I'm in the big city, I make sure to pick up these essentials. If you ever shop for Asian food in Buffalo, you know that Nihua's dominance was rocked a few years ago by the opening of Asia Food Market, also known as Asia Center Mall, which I highly recommend for their gargantuan selection of fresh soba and ramen noodles and their amazing bull statue. I marinated 2 racks of baby back ribs in a marinade inspired by Korean bop song's spicy rib recipe. You can check out the link below. We left the onion and apples out of it and added about a half a cup of kimchi. After these were marinated overnight, I smoked them for about 2 hours and then mopped them with the marinade, wrapped them in foil, and left them in the smoker for another 2 hours before unwrapping and finishing for about 30 minutes. The high on Sunday was 15 degrees, so I stayed inside as much as possible, watching the smoker temp remotely, drinking Southern Tier New Haze, a hazy, juicy IPA hopped with Mosaic, Simcoe, and Idaho 7. Super pale and super juicy. Idaho 7's a really interesting hop that makes me think of overripe melons. I also had a couple Utica Clubs, the beer that your family drank before there was television and before there were warnings on cigarettes. I love this beer. Honestly, I love all heritage gold can lagers. My wife made some beautiful steamed buns, or bao in Mandarin, so that we could make, for lack of a better term, guabao, or pork sandwiches. Apparently, guabao is technically a slice of pork belly on a steamed bun, but the term has come to mean lots of different things in recent years as it's been popularized in the US by David Chang and Eddie Huang. Either way, the pork sandwiches we made were fucking good. My wife is truly an expert baker. She used Song Young Longest recipe for bao, and they came out awesome on the first try. Soft, plump, fluffy, perfect. These sandwiches are powerful, with 2 contrasting multi-layered towers of complementary flavors crashing into each other like Godzilla and King Kong. The sweet, savory, smoky pork cut from the bone, thick with red pepper paste and honey intertwined with the pillowy dough, all shot through by the acidity of the quick pickles and the funk of the kimchi. The roasted sesame seeds added a depth to the experience that was quite disproportionate to their number and mass. Pairing this with New Haze was intense. The overripe melon and citrus battled the juxtaposed monsters of flavor in the guabao and left me straight drooling.
Stop it. Honey.